Hello y'all. How y'all doing? This video is about the psychology of how corn addiction can turn you into a predator.
En op het vol gas.
What's good with y'all? I have received an immense amount of reaction and support in the last video, and for that I just like to say thank you. I appreciate it. That shit makes me want to break my leg in a good way. I even got lovely feedback from the comments, like a nigga saying that I jump scared him with my face reveal. Like damn, am I that ugly? And we got another nigga saying the same shit, right? But then he says that he busted one to me, so I'm confused. It's like, am I sexy or am I ugly? But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I made that video, right? And although I feel like I got a lot of points down when it comes to the why and how are pedos, right? But I feel like a big thing that I did not talk about, and is one of the main contributors to these pedos becoming pedos, is corn addiction. And now I'm expecting this take to be slightly controversial. Feel free to disagree or agree in the comment section if you want, but like, due to how the brain is very complex and not something that even the smartest men in the world would be able to entirely give answers to and explain to you and or depict. But based on my research and my analysis and my interpretation, kind of after trying to connect all the dots, I have reason to believe that the concept of cornography addiction has a direct correlation to pedophilia. Oh, it's hot in this car. Fuck, I should probably put down a window or something, but nah. I'm good. One thing we have to, take note of and be aware about is that the long-term usage of corn can affect how someone's brain, responds to sexual stimulation. And in some cases, it may play a role in leading people down a riskier or more disturbing view path if deeper, psychological effects in the brain already apply to the individual at hand. First things first, I think we need to recap on what corn is for those who don't know. If you don't know what corn is, I'm actually really happy for you, but you're not fooling me, motherfucker. Everybody, unfortunately, especially in today's days, know what corn is. I'll be explaining what it is, just as a recap, using big, humongous, bodacious, big boy vocabulary words so that we can kind of set the foundation, Pornography, or corn for short, is material like pictures, writing, or videos that depict content that is intended to sexually arouse people. It usually televises nudity along with sexual acts. And the accessibility to corn has gotten more and more prevalent as years go by, with technology advancing, and social media being increased. Some bitch ass niggas looking at me. and social media has become increasingly utilized by everyone. It's no surprise that the rise of pornography has gotten absurd. For a bit of shock value, let's take a look at some statistical information when it comes to the insanity of corn usage. According to a Cornhub 2022 year-in review report, and yes, this source is directly from Cornhub themselves. For them, this is a version of YouTube Rewind, right? But for corn consumption. So yeah, according to this source, there was over 115 billion viewers in just that year alone. That's actually insane and absurd on the amount of people yanking their yoink, jacking their third leg. What the fuck? It's just insane, bro. And when it comes to how many adults watch corn on an individualistic approach, another source by Pew Research. The views and uses of cornography say that a 2021 survey in the United States conducted and found that regular use, monthly or more, was reported by 48% of men and 15% of women. So as you can see from the statistical research found, it's pretty well known, nigga, that niggas like to beat their fucking leg. Hopefully this gave you a little bit of shock value, when it pertains to how bad this is. Technology is advancing. People are getting more lonely. It's inevitable that some phenomenon like this would happen, and ultimately can and will transpire onto the concept of prepubescent attraction. Now you may be asking yourself, how does this correlate with people becoming predators, my leg? Well, let me give you an in-depth analysis. When it comes to the brain and the body, intertwining together to transmit information from setting to setting, we have this thing called dopamine, okay? So dopamine is a neurotransmitter. It's a class substance that's found in your body. Similar to messengers, neurotransmitters transfer messages throughout your body and between nerve cells, which are neurons in your brain. Dopamine has a multitude of functions and purposes, along with various pathway names in accordance with each function. When it comes to movement control, this is the path known as the this is the path known as the legghh pathway, right? Which has to do with facilitating the coordination or fluid and deliberate body motions, right? With the mesocortical pathway, it has to do with aid when it comes to thinking, concentrating, memorization, and problem solving, right? Oh fuck. And shit. And last but certainly not least, the pathway known as the mesolimbic pathway has to do with orchestrating the flow of the brain, right? When it comes to emotion and mood, it plays like a big, fat, juicy, girthy, succulent role in motivation, reward, and pleasure, and as well as addiction. It's frequently referred to be a feel-good chemical for this reason. There's lots of different ways dopamine interacts with the body, right? But what we're going to be focusing on and being the most attentive to is emotion and mood, which is the mesolimbic pathway. This pathway is the main reason for certain habitual practices and addictions, right? So if you saw my last video, I talked about and emphasized on the point of the complex psychological and environmental factors that can have an effect on the brain, that can play a role in increasing probability and the possibility of philic tendencies, that involve shit like frontal lobe dysfunction, what else, white matter anomalies, and environmental aspects and factors to consider as well, such as like arrested psychosexual development, all that stuff, right? The lack of growth in terms of emotional maturity, that type shit. I should probably not waste gas here. Should I waste gas? I don't know. I'm using the AC right now because it's hot as fuck in this bitch. According to me, connecting the dots and using my own brain and common sense, I have reason to believe that if an individual has these factors plus the addiction to corn, it may trigger a drastic effect, a drastic action that can be taking place due to the over accumulation to something I'd like to call reminiscent / stagnant dopamine acquirement / dependence. Oh, okay. How long I'll be? I need some water, bruh. It's fucking hot as shit. Dopamine can be good, right? But it can also be bad, especially if you want to have and feel that same feeling that you did the first time. It will cause an unrealistic expectation of wanting to feel the same high as you previously did, which then causes a consistent search for the exact same amount of high. You know, you get this burst of satisfaction or excitement, right? But then after some time, your brain, right? After some time, your brain, you know, just gets, you know, tolerant to whatever you've been consuming for a long period of time. Like, your brain just ends up being tired of the same shit, and then your brain is just like, yeah, nigga, I'm kind of tired of this shit. Let's try something else. This is what you call a tolerance, right? And it's inevitably setting you up for failure when it comes to any sort of sexual pleasure that you may have with an individual in real life. This is the result of desensitization. You know, constant / repeated exposure to strong sexual stimuli, which is extremely dangerous. You know, and ladies and gentlemen, I know that with this corn, there are different types of corn out there, bro. There's so many variations of this shit, right? I'll pull up a list right fucking now, actually. Hold on. There's mainstream straight porn, right? You know, that's the most common. Men and women together filmed for like a general audience. You know, that's the typical version. Then there's gay lesbian porn, you know, focused on same-sex attraction, you know. There's amateur porn, you know, real couples or everyday people, often homemade, less staged. There's professional porn filmed with actors, scripts, lighting, professional editing. You know the shit that goes like, oh, I'm stuck, bro. Can you help me get out? I'm stuck, stepdad. I mean, you know, that type of thing. Yeah, that's all done using like actors, scripts, light, editing, all that shit. So then there's also solo corn, masturbation, hentai corn, animated corn, which is just like, oh my god, like imagine SpongeBob just dicking Sandy down. Like, there are categories and subcategories of the categories. Like, that's actually fucking insane, nigga. Like damn, nigga. Like, the nigga got bored of the same. Although I personally consider any type of corn an abomination and a detriment to society, in general, these are not too terrible, right? But what happens when a nigga starts to get bored of all that? You know, yes, those people with psychological brain abnormalities, right, that get bored of everything that has been provided to them that's considered not gruesome and borderline gory and borderline psychopathic, right? There are people that start to delve into the different side of the hub, and that is the dark side, like real dark, nigga, like the inside of an asshole, dog. It's like a Gutman-like approach / progression, meaning they move from less extreme to more extreme content in a predictable way. That's when people start letting their curiosity overtake them and begin watching things that involve beastie, and yes, child, especially child. No! This is due to individuals becoming desensitized, bro. And before you say literally anything, there's ample evidence to support this, okay? According to this research study that I found on, you know, Gerber Johnson's video, and I kind of deep dived into it a little more on my behalf. I have discovered this excerpt that states the findings of the current study suggest internet pornography use may follow a Gutman-like progression. In other words, individuals who consume child pornography also consume other forms of pornography, both non-deviant and deviant. For this relationship to be a Gutman-like progression, child pornography use must be more likely to occur after other forms of pornography use. Based on the results, the progression to deviant pornography use may be affected by the individual's age of onset for engaging in adult pornography. As suggested by Quayle and Taylor, child pornography use may be related to desensitization. The current study suggests individuals who engage in online pornography use at a younger age may be at greater risk. If you want to see the entire study and survey done, here it is. I mean, you can even go on the website yourself to see it. Like, this is all done through an experimental research survey. The conclusion that we can ultimately draw from this in the most simplistic way is corn equals bad. Usage of corn or exposure to corn as a kid equals increased possibility to desensitization, which then equals to watching no corn. Now you might be saying, oh, but mylegghh, if you watch child porn but you don't act upon a child in real life, that doesn't make you a child predator. Nigga, if there is even anybody watching this video right now and it's even remotely coming to that delusional conclusion, you're a retarded Homo sapien. When you are consuming such horrid, gory, disgusting content, right? You are literally manifesting the concept of being a child predator. There's no doubt in my mind that if you watch child porn and you were given the opportunity to sexually abuse a child IRL, that you wouldn't do it, okay? Like, there's no way in fuck you wouldn't do it. The ones that watch child porn and say they wouldn't do those things IRL are the narcissistic, ignorant, dumbfounded, imaginary naivety individuals that are simply in denial, bro. And ironically enough, those are the most dangerous people you need to look out for. Them saying they wouldn't do it makes them more dangerous because they either lack self-awareness or they don't want to believe that they have a problem when you really do. Like, it's like it's transparent and that you have a problem. And saying that you don't is just a fallacy of one's own claim. These are the niggas that need their head chopped off. Once again, I'd opt for surgical removal of the male genitalia. If I was dictator, I'm making that shit happen. Like, I don't give a shit. To any ignorant pedo, that shit is fucking happening to you niggas. Alright? Any pedo that fails to take action to address the cause at hand will get their dick chopped off by law, bro. You don't deserve to feel sexual stimuli anymore, bitch ass nigga. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, this is why you should stay off corn, because of everything I just told you. Conversations above. Protect your seed, nigga. You do not want to become desensitized and prone to doing things that you will regret down the line. You need to restrain yourself from being online all the time, bro. We as humans must also establish a sense of community so that social isolation and loneliness decreases, because with those potent elements, it can then result in the consumption or the overconsumption of cornography. You as a man or woman won't be inclined or motivated to chase goals or have ambitions, bro. All right? You will never practice self-improvement. You will remain stagnant. This is what we need to avoid. For the ones that are addicted to corn and say, well, I'll never want to do what those predators are doing. First off, saying that shit lets me know that you are addicted. All right? Secondly, it's about taking preventative measures so that it doesn't get to that point, right? You never know what the fuck can happen, bro. You could be watching two gay niggas kissing. Next thing you know, it's two. You never know with this corn shit, nigga. So stop being a bitch and get off corn. At least try your best to get off corn for good. Trust me, you're better off without it. It's dangerous to consistently receive instant pleasure and sexual gratification. I'm telling you, you will feel a lot better not indulging in that. Stop gooning, nigga. But anyway, yeah, that's all I got for y'all, bro. Like, sub, peace, break a leg, bro.
Real trap shit.